chit chat, maybe see if anyone pops in.
And then, oh my God, the whole time, Q was the father.
I am kind of curious about how they're going to work him into the show at some point.
I actually already have a theory on that.
Oh, do you?
Oh yeah, it's already been done, and they already showed it. It's already been done.
Oh, okay. Don't spoil it for me.
I won't.
You know
But
what? My light's getting turned on.
what I'm saying is, when we start talking about it,
Real quick, I'm going
it
to turn
kind
it
of hit
on.
me right in the face. It actually, when I tell you this, you're gonna smack yourself so hard on the forehead you're gonna leave a handprint on your head for the weekend.
Go ahead.
Q's the one feeding him the dreams. What
That
was
makes a lot of sense.
What was Data's poker hand?
Oh.
5 queens.
Oh, wow.
5 Q's.
Oh, I totally did not catch that. I mean, I noticed it was I noticed it was 5 queens, which I thought was
That's how you
unusual.
knew something was wrong, but
Yeah,
still. But dude, imagine if that's it.
that would be pretty cool.
It
Let me
probably
get
isn't, but if
let me get my
it
lights on real
probably
quick.
isn't, but if it is, I called it. I called it right here. Did we just lose sound?
No, it was me.
Okay.
I'm trying to get my lights to turn on. They don't want to. Technical difficulties.
You
Oh
look
well.
fine. You look fine.
Usually I have a light. Anyway, looks like we do have somebody here with us. So anyway,
We got T-Man.
it's T-Man. Yeah. um, so we've both seen Star Trek Picard episode 1,
Yes.
and I loved it. But go ahead, tell me what you thought.
Actually, it caught me off guard on a lot of levels. In First of all, that one review I read online saying it was low in action. What the hell?
Yeah,
Did they ever watch episodes that had more action than most episodes of Star Trek Next Generation?
I
In
could
the
see if you're
first
comparing it to the
35
new movies,
to the
then yeah,
movies, but um a hit squad in the first 5 minutes, the recap of the flotillas, the rooftop fight, where Jesus, that hit that was emotional.
yeah. I was surprised. I actually thought that it was going to be much slower paced, especially for a first episode.
Yeah,
But what I liked about, even though, um, yeah, it was on Earth, and usually when you think like most TV shows or movies sticking to one planet, that's a big enough environment. But this is Star Trek. We're
right.
used to them going all over the galaxy.
Which looks like they're going there
They
eventually. I
will.
mean,
But what I thought was cool is they put together a good base and got me interested without doing that.
okay.
Just
Oh,
they're on Earth, they're setting things up, they're
two
setting,
seconds. Two
and
seconds.
then they can grow the world from there.
Yeah. There will be spoiler discussion here, folks. Go watch the show.
Oh,
Go hit
obviously.
pause. Go hit pause. Go watch it on your platform of choice, whether it be actually paying for CBS Access or VPNing it or your other things. Go watch it first, then come back to here. Just want to say that first. And welcome to a B-side.
How did you watch it, by the way?
My political career is already ruined from this show. I'm not doing it anymore. But there may be an app or two out there,
Okay, it's like a Cody app,
something like that.
something like that. All right. Well, I'm gonna give up on these lights. I was gonna try and do it for my phone, but screw it.
You actually reach up and turn them on.
No, it's like a I'll have to send pictures to you guys one day.
Oh,
But it's all like
LEDs.
a bunch of LEDs, and they're all connected to a Alexa smart plug. And normally I can just say, "Computer, turn on my ready room,"
A few things share the name My Ready Room. Which one did you want?
and it's not
Do
working.
you actually call your display room your ready room?
Yeah, hell yeah!
Very
A few things
nice.
share the name My Ready
Oh my
Room.
god, shut up!
Which one did you want?
Stop. Thank you. So, but
I'm
yeah, I thought
I'm
that was interesting because, yeah, they zip around the world. They go. They're San Francisco. They're in France. they go to, well, they don't both go to, but they're in Japan for a short while.
I
They go
do
all
had
over the world, which was, most people would say, how are they just going all over? But this is a world where there's teleporters and stuff like that, so they can cover a
yeah,
lot of
but
ground.
I will say this though. That's actually probably my one nitpicky complaint. I get it. Picard's an admiral. He's got access. How the hell is the Dodge traveling like that?
Dude, this is a, you probably can just walk up to a little
Right, but I'm
like
just
phone
saying,
booth
especially
looking
with the.
thing and just say I want to go to France, and then it beams you over there.
Okay, I'm just saying. Just that was my only nitpick, dude.
They
The
should have shown something like that, but I did see somebody saying like, huh, 1 minute they he passes out or goes unconscious in San Francisco, and then he wakes up in France. Well,
so let's actually kind of start things.
yeah, let's go back to the beginning.
Let's start from the beginning. So we got 6 minutes in on the show. We're already we're already kirking out over Picard. Um, let's actually do a breakdown of this show. I mean, it starts off where first of all, the music threw me off guard. I'm hoping we actually get a Star Trek intro. That's probably the
Well,
one
there
thing.
was, but and I thought that was going to be the intro. I was like, oh no, this is off to a bad
Oh
start.
right,
I
wait,
thought
but
that was going to be,
I was hoping for a narration intro. I was
oh,
so
a
hoping for
narration.
that.
Okay.
I think perception of reality is going to be a very big part of this show because again with the intro, the shattering images and the dreams. But yes, we start off and we've got the poker game going on, which if you've ever watched the Next Generation, poker's a big
On
part of it.
on the Enterprise D, no less.
And that made me that as soon as I saw the Enterprise D, the hair went up in my arms.
Yes.
I love the line, the whole talking about Data having a tail. Seeing Brent Spiner looking great, by the way. Hope he recovers from his. Is he still has cancer?
Well, I didn't even know he had cancer. So.
Yeah, pancreatic cancer.
Oh no.
But anyway, Brent Spiner looking
Definitely
good.
using some CGI there to help him out. Definitely. But.
And then I love the whole thing of I don't want the game to end.
Mm-hmm.
And then things go to hell. So, like I said,
Yeah.
as soon as he laid down those 5 queens, I'm like, there's something not right here.
So I thought it was unusual. He looks up and you can see Mars. They're in Mars orbit, and he says, "Funny, I don't remember our course being set for Mars," or whatever he said. And then Data's gone. Mars starts to explode, and at first I was like, I understood at that point that he was having a dream, but at first I thought it was going to be all hologram, like a holodeck.
Actually, that's what I thought it was. Actually,
Yeah.
when I first saw the silhouette in the music, I almost thought it was a Dixon Hill scene.
Oh, okay. Yep, that would have worked. But I did think a holodeck at first until he laid the 5 queens.
Queens, yeah.
Then I was like, okay, no, this is not holodeck. This is like a flashback or a dream sequence. But the whole planet exploding and everything, I was like, okay. At first, I just kind of discarded it. I didn't think that it was going to really mean anything that important until, of course, he wakes up and we see that he's living in France. He's got the Picard vineyards.
And 2 Romulan housekeepers.
Yes. Yeah, and I that didn't seem unusual to me because I knew that they were going to connect to the storyline from the new movies where Romulus was destroyed, and that he played a part in rescuing as many people as he could. So I didn't think it was. At first, I was like, "Why are there Romulans?" But then I was like, "Okay, these must be people that he saved from the planet, and they just stuck with him, and they're like his assistants." But I'm trying to go back through the actual sequence of events.
He's getting ready for the interview.
Yeah, when he was getting ready for that interview, and during that interview, they use that interview sequence as a way to get us caught up.
Beautiful exposition.
Yes. Without being too cheesy and on the nose, her questioning of him to get, okay, this is what happened, and this is how he got to where he is now,
Hmm.
which I thought was really cool. So we find out that yes, um, the Romulan star went supernova and destroy it was
Destroyed
destroying the
Romulan.
entire system, and
And
he was
then
leading a, which made sense, would have been a very controversial uh, rescue mission to base,
and
because
I
they're not allies, they're not friendly
no, but he was
at that time.
saving lives. He
He
was
was
saving
saving
Romulan
lives.
lives. He was saving lives. That was very Picard.
Yes, very Picard. Um, I did hear leading up to this show that they were going to be a little political with some things, and there was going to be some, maybe some references to our current politics, and I think that was it,
That
because
was
I could, I think I could see some our political leaders saying we're not going to go save those people,
their
and
people.
we would do it anyway, or someone would do it anyway. So
It did feel like it was shoved down your throat, though.
I didn't think it, I don't know, it was, I thought it was subtle enough. I was fine with it.
Yeah.
And the reporter being kind of a, arrogant, nosy, that was
Not knowing
totally,
history. Not
that's
knowing
totally
history.
our media.
Yes.
Totally our media. So nothing's changed in the future. But yeah, so she's kind of badgering him
Mhm.
on why he did what he did, and basically what they're implying is that his rescue mission that he was leading pulled resources away,
From the android, whatever, so the synthetic.
or I guess we're to believe the entire fleet was off doing something, and a fairly large group of synthetics somehow raided the what do they call it,
The Martian Utopia.
Utopia shipyards,
Hmm.
and destroyed it.
And
Bunch of
set
lives lost.
the fuel lines, and Mars is still on fire.
Yeah. And so that ended up leading to a very current day political point of view of let's
Scrap
shut
synthetics.
down, scrap synthetics, shelve them.
And then we've got this girl who's being romantic with her boyfriend, where the hit squad just teleports in, kills the boyfriend, and all of a sudden she kind of goes, I'm trying to think I was trying to find the best way of going it.
One of the thugs had said something like they bag her, and they said, "Oh, she hasn't been activated yet."
Right.
And then as soon as they put the bag on, or they're
And
like
punch her in the
getting ready to
face.
cuff her, she activates and kind of goes like Jason Bourne
Thank you. That's what I was going to do.
on everybody. All
That's
of a
what I was
sudden,
trying to find.
it's like the Matrix. She wakes up and she's like, "I know kung fu."
And so we got that going on. The interview happens, and then boom, she shows up. Which, fun fact, I mean, I love Picard's dog, just calling him number one.
Yeah.
Um,
Although I do think Bataille would have been a good name for the dog too.
There's a couple good names for it.
If they don't find a way to reference the inner light during this whole, then I'm going to be really disappointed, because that's my favorite episode.
No. There's a lot of. They still got. I mean, and we'll talk about it. They still did a very good way of tying things in, because then of course we have the painting. And this is, again, because of how these dreams are so too blatant, is where I come with my whole Q theory. Because normally, I mean, I know the dreams or exposition was a little too God in the machine, if you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see Q doing that. Plus, I'm sure John Delancey could use a paycheck.
Yeah. Well, how else would Picard be able to, receive this information? So there is one theory that we'll get to when we get through the recap of the episode. I want to remind. I need to write this down.
Please don't tell me
No.
latent cybernetics.
No.
Okay.
Well, kind of, yeah. So anyway, yeah, she has basically a vision of Picard. She senses where he is, or he can help her. She shows up at the Chateau de Picard, and basically is pleading for help. He takes her in. They get some Earl Grey, which, by the way, he drinks with milk and sugar now.
Sugar.
Yep. And
And decaf in the morning.
yeah, decaf in the morning.
Tea, Earl Grey, decaf. What?
So, yeah, and then she runs away, like, I guess in the middle of the night. The next day, she's gone. He goes to
Starfleet because of the dream.
Starfleet because of he had a dream about the painting, and we find out that there's a second painting, almost identical, in his
But with the
personal
face.
locked.
Which the lock
storage
thing was
room.
cool too, seeing.
Yes, and we instantly get like nostalgia, like
Batleth,
overload, like
the
shotgun of it.
Stargazer,
The
some other
Captain
ship.
Picard Day banner, literally everything. I could go back and watch that scene and keep frame by frame. I'm sure his crystal that I'd never thought he actually had on his desk on the Enterprise D was in that room somewhere. I still think it never actually exists, and that's a Mandela effect, but whatever. That's a separate topic. And so he finds the painting, and it's her. The painting is basically of Daj, the girl.
Which, of
So
course,
we're
made me
like,
think that one time he built the daughter one time.
He did. So yeah, a little weird mystery kind of going on, and all of a sudden she shows up, which I thought was unusual. So at one point she calls her mom for help.
Which, that makes me wonder on that one, if that's actually her mom, or was that a subroutine built into her?
Like, was it not really seeing it, or was it just, I don't know.
Because then all of a sudden she starts going into android speed, and it's just like, okay, this is blatantly. If you've ever seen Data work on the screens, and hacks in, and then there's the chase scene.
Yep.
Which that is blatantly a stunt double from the back of Patrick Stewart's head.
Well, at least they didn't show him like barely able to walk upstairs and then suddenly running full sprint and like jumping. Like he wasn't getting out of the way of anything too quick. Let's just say that. He was.
And then finally we get the fight on the stairs, which once again, low action. That was actually a beautifully choreographed fight.
Mm-hmm.
And if you didn't think she was an android then, she did the jump.
Yes. That was like a Matrix jump.
And then finally some Romulan spat looked like some kind of accelerant fuel.
Yeah.
And then we find out the hit squad's Romulan.
So, and that caught me off guard because I was like, all right, well, she's going to get the stuff on her. She's going to dive away from the exploding.
Oh, hold
rifle.
on. We got to backtrack. We forgot the other coolest part. Seeing B4.
Oh, he didn't go there yet.
No, he's gone there. No,
yeah,
no.
That's.
Oh, that was after.
Yeah, that's
okay,
after.
right.
Yeah, that's after this.
Shit. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all right. So she's on the steps. I thought she was going to get away. She blows up.
I was like, okay.
She did.
That did not see that coming.
Yeah, did not see that coming. I'm like, okay, what's going on here?
Trope, just all of a sudden, that trope just went
gone.
I thought it was going to be like, okay, she's now going to become our Deus Ex Machina, that every episode she finds new powers and new things to get them out of the situations, and nope, she's combustible.
Dead. And at first I was like, oh no, I'm going to wake up in the morning and Twitter's going to be outraged because they killed off a female character in the first episode, blah, blah, blah. But we find out later that
there is another.
So, but anyway, yeah, she's dead. He ends up going to the Daystrom Institute.
the Starfleet synthetics.
Yes, which she happened to had gotten like accepted into like an internship program or something.
And then Picard starts asking, could she have been built? And this lady is going, nope, can't happen,
Yeah.
not going to happen.
Yeah,
Then do you
impossible.
then do you recognize the necklace?
Oh, I didn't recognize the necklace. What was?
No, he told the lady if she
Oh,
recognized
okay.
the necklace.
Yeah. And so, and by the way, who is the actress that plays that character? She looks very familiar.
Don't know.
The blonde chick. She's
I don't know, but I don't know who that Madrox guy is either that she kept referring to.
Yeah, I don't know who that was. I'm guessing that's the guy that we found at the end of the episode. So anyway, yeah, she pulls the drawer open and there's B4 in pieces.
That was kind of cool
because he was deactivated, and we get a solid answer on B4 never truly became Data.
Right.
Data's memories were there, but
never integrated.
They never manifested.
We never had the positronic brain was never recreated.
Yes, it was an early positronic brain in B4 that was not able to handle the
neural net.
The data.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so now that kind of we'll go back around, but I kind of think where's Lore in all this? But anyway,
Lore got a distinctive ending, unfortunately.
Did he though?
Yeah.
Didn't he? I think he's still like floating around out there, he's alive.
Ask me later about Lore. I actually was trying to do I kid you not, write a Star Trek novel.
Oh yeah.
And I actually was going to write the final Lore story.
The lore of Lore.
In a way, that's exactly. You know what? That'll be our post talk after this.
So, and I know we're kind of zipping through
this show was actually very dense.
It was, and there is a lot to it. I probably should have watched it again a second time.
They could have broken everything that happened in this one episode. They could have broken that into 3 or 4 episodes unto itself.
Yeah.
Just seeing
I don't
Picard.
know if you watched if it had the commercials or not.
No.
Okay. So I did actually watch it on CBS, and I got to watch the commercials. Yay! But the last 2 commercial breaks, I actually thought before the break, I thought that was it.
Yeah.
Oh, because it was a lot in there, and it was a fairly long episode, and I was like, oh, okay, that's it. And then the commercial came out, I was like, oh no, there's more.
But I'm just saying, we could have just had episode of the whole thing, the chateau thing, and then ended with the girl going nuts. You could have had just a whole episode of her at the chateau, and then having the whole talk, and then So this was a lot of plot crammed into one episode.
Pretty much, especially for Star Trek TV standards.
Yes.
Which there was usually like one major thing going on, and one other little side story, and that was it. So anyway, we basically that's, I think, does it end there at the day show?
No, because then we finally go back to space, and we get to see a Romulan warbird.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm sorry. It was like as far as Picard's little.
Oh no. Because
they were talking about the Maelstrom guy and all that.
Oh, and we also ghosted over the whole rant of "I've been waiting here to die." That whole rant. That was very Patrick Stewart at his best. I've just pretty much been sitting here at the chateau, just waiting to die, when I should be living.
Motivated.
Exactly.
He's got a cause.
Picard is back.
He's back. So then we find ourselves, looking at some Romulan ships.
First, 1 or 2 Romulan ships first, which they look beautiful.
Yep, flying around, docking. We see
the Romulan Reclamation Center.
Yeah, we see like a fairly like a space. We can tell it's like some sort of space station, and here is.
I thought that guy was Zachary Quintos at first.
Yeah, so did I. Or the guy that played him with the beard on Discovery.
Yeah.
When Spock had the beard.
Yeah.
So we see Daj's twin.
Which that doesn't make sense. Well, I mean, I'm still trying to figure out why she would be there because she's like basically the only human there.
Oh, human.
But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like if there was a mixture of humans and Romulans there, that'd be one thing. But and then
there's a reason, and
we know,
which we found that the little symbol meant that there's two, and that's why we see her. We find out there's a twin,
and she knows she has a twin.
Yes, which is So she seems much more in the loop.
But does she? I still don't think she knows what she is.
I don't think she knows what she is. I can't. Well, who knows? So then we we're zooming back out and we see some more Romulan ships and everything.
And we're like, fuck ton of Romulan ships.
A fuck ton, yeah. And we're like, oh damn, where'd they get all this stuff? And then pan out and boom, they have a Borg cube that seems to be decommissioned.
Which in itself, I'm trying to figure that one out.
So I
you
don't
got
know
theories?
Did you catch any of the like the prequel comic stuff for the new
I have
movies?
Not.
Okay.
I have not.
So some of this is related, but in that Data was like alive before it became Data. Data was captain of the Enterprise, but the basic story to that was that Nero's ship was enhanced by Borg tech.
Really?
And that's why Nero's ship was like so much more advanced.
Which
it didn't match Romulan technology.
Speaking of, do you think that guy was Nero's brother? The guy who said, "I just recently lost my brother."
Oh.
That or his brother was part of the hit squad that went after Daj.
Maybe.
I think, You know what? I think his brother was part of the hit squad that went after Daj.
It would be interesting to know if they connected to Nero in some way.
He's the guy. I bet you he's the guy
who say he just?
Yeah, he said he just recently lost his brother.
Recently, okay.
I bet you that guy was the guy who got kicked off the building, who got transported away. There's one guy that the Daj throws off the building and then immediately gets transported. Dead. He wasn't dead.
Yeah.
I bet you that's the brother.
So I'm guessing, I don't know.
And then his actual brother's the guy who killed the sister. Yes, I'm saying it now. That guy, his brother's the one who blew up Daj, and he got chucked off the building.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. So, but yeah, it would be cool if they do connect to Nero somehow. But that's where that kind of comes from, was the idea that the Romulans had secured some Borg tech somehow. And if they have this Borg cube and they're doing all kinds of crazy reverse engineering R&D at this Borg cube, that may explain the little bit of that connection. Because officially the Borg were defeated. Well,
you mean for First Contact?
Times, but they were defeated in Voyager as well. But yeah, in First Contact, when they killed the Queen, basically the Borg, network was just shut down.
Yeah, but they blew in First Contact when they blew up that Queen. They also blew up that cube.
Mm-hmm. But
because then there was the other. Because then the other Queen.
There's another cube somewhere.
There's another because there was another Queen that was in Voyager.
Yes.
There's been more than one Borg Queen.
There was more than one. But if the last time we saw the Borg in this timeline would have been First Contact.
Right.
Officially, canon-wise. Because Voyager,
not Voyager?
The end of Voyager would have taken place before that.
Okay.
Right.
Well, don't forget, though, there are still... we do know, I mean, you saw in the trailer, Jerry Ryan's back. So 7 of 9's back. Mm-hmm. And Hugh is coming back.
Which is why, yeah.
So we're going to see at least 2 more Borg.
So the Borg are going to be heavily tied into this show.
Good.
Yeah.
Because if there's
Well,
if you
maybe
can think of
without
a
even
more
showing the Borg. You don't even have to have the zombie robots running around. Just have the Borg tech be, it's kind of like it's almost like it's like a doomsday weapon kind of in a sense, or like it's like we don't want another crazy country getting
Mhm.
their hands on nukes. It's like we don't want the Romulans getting Borg tech. Well, they got it.
Well, what's going to end up happening is that tech's going to go back on them, and they'll probably Borg themselves.
Yeah, that could happen, and that would be like so. I'm sure that's probably going to be a motivation of Picard if when he finds out that they've got Borg tech. He's going to want it destroyed because he doesn't want any chance of the Borg coming back.
That's like one of the few things he is truly fanatical. We're saving lives. We're saving lives. All lives are precious. There's a Borg. Get me my gun.
So T-Man said, "Old cutest the Borg," but that's what I was thinking as far as like how he could be receiving this information. Is
Mhm.
he was Locutus? He
Right.
had the cybernetic tech implants. Could there be some sort of nano on a small scale left over? And if she's rooted somehow in Borg tech, and he's connected to Borg tech, then those two could be connected somehow.
Data, or that Matrix guy, used Borg tech to replicate Data's positronic brain, which is the essence of Data, using the Borg network to beam directly to Picard. Carry the two. I see it.
You see? Yeah.
No. I
Now,
absolutely see it.
if that's the case, do you think that because they have B4's body, that leads a opening to actually Data coming back? If they can
No.
utilize the tech on B4's existing hardware to build a
No.
positronic net.
No, because his hardware is still inferior. That's why they're using the DNA skin, the skin jobs, basically.
Yeah.
On the other hand, it'd be kind of cool if they just make a new Data. Not
Like
even Brent Spiner, but just, hey, this is Data.
and just have like a new actor.
Yeah,
They
works
could
for
do that,
Doctor
man.
Who.
Yeah.
Um,
Could even be a chick.
Now, if in the end it's all actually lore, I will be freaking you'll hear me screaming all the way up there. So, like I said, way before I was actually somewhere on somewhere in my mom's house. There's a three and a quarter floppy drive using Microsoft Word Perfect that has my attempt at writing a novel on it.
Oh, really?
And the whole idea was that Lore's head was found, and the Enterprise was tasked in bringing it back. So they have the head, and a Ferengi crew was basically paid to try to steal it. And while they get in, they steal the head, and what they end up doing is part of their mission is to actually hook it up into the Enterprise. So all of a sudden, Lore hijacks the Enterprise computer. And then we find out that actually the whole thing that of the Ferengi being paid to find for Lore's body was actually Lore doing like one of his plan Ds, that was his plan all along. So then the only way to combat Lore is that Data has to plug into the Enterprise.
Okay.
They fight on the digital plane. And while that's all going on, Wesley ends up basically corralling their signal to the holodeck. And they basically have a showdown on the holodeck of, Lore being his creative mind versus Data's logic mind
Maybe
in a
like
visual representation.
an old west shootout on the holodeck,
I was kind of more thinking
or
of like
like a
that one episode.
Shakespearean duel.
I was kind of more thinking there's that one episode like Beetlejuice where they try to be more out ridiculousing each other.
Oh, okay.
You know, Lore's the type of guy who would snap his fingers and a 10-ton weight would fall on Data. Meanwhile, Data just pulls out a large gun because that's the most logical way of taking him out. That was kind of be my novel. So,
It's a good idea.
but
That's the thing I love about Star Trek.
oh yeah,
It's just
oh
so much history, and there's so many directions you can take stories.
Mhm.
Like, I didn't think about Q at all. I mean, when the show was announced, I was like, oh, it'd be kind of cool if Q would pop
oh
in. Like, if they had a Q episode. But I didn't think about that, like, until you said it, that he might even be, like, a key part
yeah.
of the story, like, kind of pulling strings.
The only so Q as a Q on there, and then well, did you watch the trailer for the rest of the season?
No.
So he's got his own. He's going to get his own spaceship, get a smaller ship. He gets his own crew.
I
That
saw, like,
doctor,
a trailer before the
yeah,
wait,
you
like
know,
weeks ago. It might have been the same trailer.
might have been the same show. So the doctor Abigail, she joins the crew, and they fight some. Actually, looks like they fought an old school warbird and things like that. So that could be interesting. But they definitely get off planet. That's the big thing.
Yeah, definitely. They're
Um,
not going to stay on planet Earth the whole time. I just thought it was interesting that they uh, took the the kept it grounded on Earth for a whole episode, pretty much until the very
mhm.
end of it, and still set up the story and then if you got a a rooted story that's good with that small scale, and now you can just expand it from there.
So things that you want to see.
Things I want.
Hmm.
Um, Q.
Okay.
We're gonna get Riker. We're gonna get a lot of those characters.
Hmm.
Um, Reference to Inner Light. Let me think. What else? There's just so much history that they can pull from.
I've got one big thing I would kill for them to bring back.
What?
Vash.
Refresh my memory.
The pretty much she was like the kind of like the Catwoman to Picard if Picard was Batman.
Oh yeah.
You know, nice legs for a human.
Yeah.
If they could somehow find a way of bringing, whenever I watch Star Trek, she's always like the one that got away from Picard.
Well, she used him here and there, and
Oh yeah,
yeah, he. I don't think he wanted to put up with her shit, but at the same time, he always fell for it.
yeah.
Yeah. Like the
I would.
one that she could. I guess basically, I think it was like the same thing every time. Like she would sucker him into some sort of like
Mhm.
archaeological trip.
Oh, exactly. But I'm just saying, I
Yeah.
would love to if they could somehow bring her back, or again a reference to her because dude, he's lonely in that chateau, man.
Yeah, he is.
Just saying.
And in the future they got all kinds of good medicine, so he's probably.
Well, I mean, we knew. I mean, they never actually said what happened to her. I mean, the last time we ever saw her was on an episode of Deep Space Nine because she was traveling with Q.
I never watched all of Deep Space Nine, and it's because it got off to a slow start, and I know it got really good at the end. But
This,
for
this,
me,
this was Deep Space Nine. Okay, it's a Kira episode. Not gonna watch. Okay, it's a Cisco episode. May watch. Ooh, it's an
Cisco
Odo
is
episode.
weird.
Ooh, it's an Odo episode. Ooh, it's a Bashir episode. Okay, it's a Quark Odo episode. Gotta watch this one. Garrick's in it. Gotta watch this one. That's how
Yeah,
I was. The
Cisco
show.
was a really weird character, and he was so like bland and. Do you notice the way he walked around was weird? Like they had him.
Dude,
It was like they
he
had him on
was
a dolly, and
not.
someone was pushing him around on a dolly cart.
Dude, have you? There is an episode. Cisco is the most hardcore of all of them. Once he got to Defiant, there was oh God, I'm blanking on the episode. You could find this one where it's like the he's chasing after a guy who used to be his commander, who ends up working for the Maquis. And he tracks him down to his planet. And he tells Worf, he's like, you need to surrender yourself. He's like, I'm not going to do it. He tells Worf to load 2 torpedoes with a certain amount of this like highly radioactive material. And he says, listen, you need to surrender yourself or I'm going to fire these torpedoes and detonate them in the atmosphere and make this planet inhabitable for 25 years. And the guy's like, dude, you're not going to do it. He fucking does it. He actually, yes. I will after this show, I'm going to find you that clip. You watch that. And he's basically saying, I'm going to track you down to every planet you go to and I will make each planet unlivable until you surrender.
Wow.
And then he does it. And you're like, he just went to super villain level. It's like, Cisco, you didn't fuck with. Well, it was like the episode when he met Q. And this was the episode trying to say, like, hey, we're not a next generation clone. And Q like takes him into a boxing match. And Cisco just bashes him in the face. And it's, he's like, dude, Picard wouldn't have done that. And he's like, I'm not Picard. Get the hell off my ship. So Avery Brooks he played the character very cool, very different. And
I think it just took some time for the show to kind of get its
the problem was you had that going on at the time. You also had Babylon 5 going on. You're like, okay, which show about a space station am I going to watch? And even though Babylon 5 actually came out before Deep Space Nine.
But that was like we had so many years there where there was Star Trek.
Oh yeah.
On TV, there was always Star Trek on TV.
You had Next Generation, then you had Deep Space Nine. They blended the two together. Then you had Voyager, and then it died.
Even Enterprise. It had its moments. It had its
moments, but I lost all faith with the whole holodeck, with it being a whole history recount.
Yeah, that was not the way to end it. That was it. Definitely. You could watch that whole show except for the finale.
And it was
a good show.
There was one particular piece, if you want to talk Enterprise, there was one piece of Star Trek history I was so hoping I was going to see in that show that we never did.
What's that?
And this is actually a reference to original series. Do you remember the episode The Tholian Web?
I do and I don't.
That's one where like Kirk got caught in this transporter instance and he kept fading in and out.
No, I don't remember.
And the whole idea was there's this race called the Tholians. And they mentioned that there was a Tholian war. So that was a race that Starfleet had gotten into an actual war with. Which, back in those times, they never touched on it again. It's like, there's few things in Star Trek that they teased us with and never did anything again. Like those, do you remember the conspiracy episode in Next Generation with the weird parasite aliens that attached to their back of their spines?
Mm-hmm.
That episode scared the hell out of me. And they never did anything with it again. Never touched that on any of the fiction again.
Yeah. Well, they did retread. Like, they used the Borg a lot.
They used the Borg, but I'm saying that's specific. I wanted to see that race again.
Yeah.
I wanted to see another Doomsday Machine again.
You know what episodes of TNG that every time, like I watch them, but I was always like, another one of these.
Anything with the Traveler in it?
No, it was when they had, I didn't mind the Traveler at all. But no, it was when they had the Klingon, like, politic episodes. Where it was
really?
Like, yeah, I was like, I don't know. I just wasn't
I kind of
interested in those.
Dug that.
Yeah, like
plus,
who's gonna succeed and.
Plus, when the guy who played Worf's brother, that was Tony Todd.
Yeah, I didn't.
That was the Candyman.
I just didn't feel those episodes.
I got to meet Tony Todd at a convention, and he basically said, thanks to that show, Michael Dorn is his unofficial brother, and they've stayed in contact ever since.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Another one of my favorite episodes is a Worf episode, Parallels. Parallels and Inner Light.
The
like
quantum
Inner
episode.
Light and then Parallels.
Parallels, the one with every quantum version of Worf.
Yeah, when he was in the shuttlecraft and he hit the whatever thing in space time, whatever, and it splintered off.
That was a weird one. I remember because when they was trying to fix everything in that one version of Riker, who was like, "Dude, the Borg are killing us everywhere."
T-Man says episode 2 had an orgy.
He is talking about the episode where everyone got drunk.
When everyone got of what series?
Next Generation. Well, technically it was episode 3 because Farpoint was part 1 and part 2.
Farpoint was 1 and 2.
That was the episode where Data. My favorite. I actually reference this line still. When Data says, "I am fully functional,"
Yeah.
and he bangs Tasha.
I wonder if yeah. I like how they handled her character. How they regretted, I think, killing her off.
She regretted leaving the show.
And then
she regretted. She begged to get back.
Yeah.
That was all Denise Crosby.
That was all her?
That was all
her.
She
wasn't just written off? See, I always thought that they killed her character because they wanted to, like, show some, like, things are real and stuff can happen, you know?
Nope. Because especially it was on such a throwaway episode.
It was.
Killed by a giant tar thing.
Yeah, ooze. Not only that, she was just kind of like, and she's just discarded. Like, it wasn't, she didn't nobly, like, do anything.
She got redshirted.
Yeah, she was just gone.
Which, honestly, I think she probably maybe recorded like half like maybe a couple parts of the episode and then walked off the show. Like, okay, we'll just write you off.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
But yeah, that was all Denise Crosby, and then she came back for the time travel episode.
Yeah, it was cool how they brought her character back with tying it into the
that time travel episode was one of the coolest things ever. That Enterprise C episode.
Yeah.
And then being her own daughter.
Yeah, being her own daughter is like the most bizarre thing, but it works. It's Star Trek. Well, I can't believe that not only did T-Man stick around while we've just been nerding out over Star Trek, but
he gave us some good Star Trek moments.
There's actually a few people here. So if anyone wanted to chime in the chat and tell us what they thought of episode 1, what their favorite part was, what they didn't like, maybe didn't work for them, where they want the show to go, throw it in the chat.
We know we got a 5-second delay, so don't worry, we're not going anywhere just yet. Mm-hmm. But
do we know how many episodes it is?
Probably. I don't know yet, actually. I'll have to look it up.
I'm hoping it's at least 8 or more.
Which is actually, I'm kind of liking that for these series.
Yeah, I think 8 to 12 episodes is a plenty. I don't the shows that are on TV like say these CW shows, 22 episodes, 24 episodes. That's a lot. You're just
if you can give me a complete give me a complete balanced story in 8 episodes, that makes it, I mean, if they can keep it this tight, keep it moving and tight, I will be very happy. It didn't feel bombarded with exposition. It didn't feel, it felt a little rushed, but it didn't feel like I was, I like the show. I'm just worried that Patrick Stewart's old.
So, Roland, I'm going to get to your comment too, but I thought the same thing when I'm watching this. I was like, oh yeah, this is Picard, and I feel like it's the same character. Doesn't matter, like, you know what I mean. I felt like we picked up no problem.
It doesn't feel like a cash grab. It does not feel like a cash grab.
No, but at the same time, I was like, oh man, how cool would it have been if we could have gotten something like this 15 years ago?
Yes and no.
Because he is old.
But we need this guy. We need a.
Yeah, but he was Professor X and all that. That was cool. That's good. But man,
I would have liked this right before if he did this right before doing Logan. That would have been perfect.
even just before doing,
Just before
I don't
doing
know,
Logan, I
at least
needed him.
10. At least go back 10 years. He you could tell he's aged quite a bit.
He finally, dude, that guy freaking ages like a Chinese woman.
Owen Rage says favorite part was Picard being stunned, watching the chick beat up all those Romulans.
And I think we all were.
Yeah,
That was beautiful fight choreography.
it was good, and yeah, you could tell at that point he was kind of piecing it together.
Well, no, he
Had
knew
pieced
that
it
she was
together.
he knew that she was an android before then, because as soon as she said, like, "How did you track me down? You are something special. You're my friend's daughter."
Yeah.
He already knew that.
I don't know if he quite understood how that she could even exist though and be like a flesh and blood.
Well, no, he didn't understand that part, but
Yeah.
he knew that it's not the he went for the okay. He knows she is. We'll worry about the hows at later, but we know what she is now.
Yeah.
Because he's freaking Picard. He never
So-
felt like he lost that groove.
What are the chances that if they can make these, flesh and blood androids, that we can get another copy of a younger Picard? Maybe played this time by a jacked Tom Hardy instead of the skinny Tom Hardy.
Well, actually, no, because these clones are based off the positronic brains, not after actual DNA.
Well, there's got to be DNA involved there somewhere.
Like T-Man said, he was waiting. Well, we have a Mary Sue because now she's over on the Romulan ship, and she'll probably marry Sue at the very end when the Borg thing takes over. It's hard to believe that was a young Tom Hardy that played the Picard clone.
Yeah. It was him. A young Tom Hardy before he got all jacked.
He was what was it? There's this movie he was in called Bronson. If you ever see that, that's when he got that was the movie he got
was
jacked in.
That and when he did Bane, he was big. But yeah, so I think this is a pretty good spot to end it, just under an hour.
And I think consensus is we're in for at least another episode.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, all 3 or 4 people seem to like the show. So
Yeah.
I think we got a hit on our hands.
And Joe, did you want to, if we can try to both wrap up the show by 8:30 on Friday nights, would you like to try to continue these recaps?
Yes, I do. Definitely would like to make this a weekly thing. And if we can't do Friday, do it Saturday, whatever.
But we don't want it to let it. We don't want it to let it go.
I would like to make it a weekly thing.
All right then. So, both of you guys in the chat, tell your friends.
Yeah. All
Team-
3 of them.
Well, T-Man is already going to be there.
All right,
Roland,
everybody.
awesome.
So
Thank you. Everybody
hopefully
else,
we'll be back
thank you.
next week, and we will definitely be back on Thursday for the regular Figure Action podcast.
Oh, yeah.
At 9:00.
Awesome. Till next time.
T-Man says, I might tell somebody. All right, guys. Good night.
Good night.